Welcome back to the Peach State. We're inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's show you our 4-1-1 for the night's racing. 2 heats, top 9 going on to the main. We'll have 1 last chance qualifier. Top 2 will come out of there to fill out our 20-rider, 20-lap main event, paying points towards the AMA and World Supercross GP point standings. Now, we tried to get heat number 1 underway, but we had a red flag. Let's show you what brought the action to a stop.
You'll notice Ramsey gets out of sequence. Michael Byrne jumps right into the back of him. Ramsey goes over the bars. Burner gets hit again. Huge pileup, 3 or 4 guys behind him.
So we had to bring the race to a stop to attend to the riders. And everybody getting lined back up. There's Davy Milsaps, who actually had the hole shot when they dropped the gate. His first race back. Here's our up close for heat number 1. Top 9 transferring to the main. Everybody else the last chance qualifier. It is an 8-lap race. Let's show you our Dunlop starting grid for heat number 1. This should be a pretty good heat because we get to see Ricky Carmichael and Chad Reed heads up right away.
Well, there's a lot of great names in here, and Ricky Carmichael wanting to put on a great show tonight here. He's had so many great races in Atlanta, and I'm sure he'd like to wrap it up.
Well, before we drop the gate again, let's head to Aaron for Progressive Direct pre-race support.
For the first time in 2007, Factory Honda has a rider lined up on the starting gate, and I'm talking about the 118 of Davy Milsaps. If you remember, he broke his femur 1 week after the U.S. Open, but he's back for action here tonight. He says he's 100% healthy, but his speed's not quite there yet, but he said he's excited to be back racing.
Like that gear he's wearing tonight.
Yeah, he's got that retro Team Honda jersey from back in the 70s and 80s. Looks really good.
The 70s and 80s, that's just about your era, isn't it?
Yeah, just
way
about.
back, way back. Well, he got a great hole shot when they dropped the gate the first time. Maybe he can do it again.
Yeah, maybe he can do it again. We'll see. They'd like to duplicate that for sure.
But there's the guy everybody's watching tonight, Ricky Carmichael, his final visit to Atlanta. The 30-second board is up. She'll tip it sideways and head off the racetrack. They'll drop that gate anytime after that, and we'll be underway once again with Heat 1. Jeff, what's the key to a good start? We saw Milsaps uncork a good one.
Well, I was looking at the gate area. It's pretty tacky there, and just after the gate, the dirt's a little bit looser, drier. It is the perfect combination because the sticky dirt behind the gate launches you, then you get a little wheel spin.
Milsaps again with another great hole shot, takes it, and Carmichael's right behind him with Chad Reed behind him in third.
Yeah, the big difference here was that Chad Reed was buried mid-pack on the first start. On this restart, he makes up for it.
Carmichael takes the lead, and this crowd comes to their feet. Had to get over 250 tickets for friends and family here tonight. Some of that included his grandfather and his aunt. Here comes Chad Reed.
Chad Reed just getting on the inside, coming backwards on the start. That is a great turn for a block pass. And, Milsaps hasn't been racing this season. Reed and Carmichael have, and they're ready to, they come out of the gate, they're just fired up, and Milsaps may take them a little bit of time to work into it.
Of course, about 50 of those tickets that Ricky Carmichael's mom had to get were for the guys from Ginn Racing. That's the stock car team that Ricky's going to be moving on to when he wraps up his motocross and supercross career here this year.
Doesn't look like he's ready to give it up anytime soon, though. Talking to him earlier, Ralph, he's just as comfortable as ever on the bike.
Battle for fourth, a good one. That's David Billiman on the 12. We watch Billiman working on that 12. Here's Chad Reed on the 22.
Chad's your leader right now. Carmichael made a mistake around the finish line area. Not quite sure where, but
sounds like he might have overjumped it, Jeff. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, he comes out of the finish line area, just tried to scrub the triple. Oh, wait, it was the triple jump, but he jumped off the side of the track, goes around the backside of the berm even.
So there's Carmichael trying to reel in Reed. You saw Reed go by on the blue and white San Manuel Yamaha.
Well, that's a lucky break for Reed here, and Carmichael jumping a quad there after the finish line jump.
There's your gap. That's Reed up front, Carmichael right behind him on the Makita Suzuki. Well, you know what? If Chad Reed is anything, he is good at capitalizing on lucky breaks. He did it last week in San Diego. Stewart had a problem, went down, Reed grabbed the win.
Well, he's such a determined rider, and he wants to win this Supercross championship, and he just keeps working hard. He never gives up. You know, he's always right there. If he doesn't win, he's second.
The names in green scrolling across the top of the screen hold the top 9 transfer spots to the main. Everybody else in red looks like they're going on to the last chance qualifier. These guys have a little bit of history here in the past inside this building.
Well, there is no doubt that they have had some tight racing here and battled it out. But Carmichael here looks like he's picking up a little bit of time. Last lap, Carmichael was at a 45.1 and Reed was at a 45.7, so that's about half a second faster. And I think right there on that section, Carmichael is jumping 3.2 instead of 2.3, and he saves a little bit of time by staying a little lower.
He's definitely closing the gap. He's picked up half a second on Chad Reed.
You see how comfortable these guys are, Ralph? You see, it's like a turn-down whip over the triple. You only do that when you are completely dialed in on the bike. Both these guys look awesome tonight.
That's why they are 3 of the best riders in the world. Ricky Carmichael, Chad Reed, and James Stewart, without a doubt, the top of the class.
You know, I do think that it is amazing that Carmichael can take a couple weeks off, you know, only riding this limited schedule, and come right back out, be as comfortable, maybe even the best that we've ever seen him after not riding a couple races.
He told me earlier today that he feels extremely comfortable. And Jeff, as you know, comfort is the key to riders being ready to win. Yes, the bikes have to be fast, you have to be in shape, but comfort is such a key to this game.
Well, it just adds to your confidence and lets you, allows you to take those chances on the track that sometimes are necessary to win the event.
Best lap so far, a 45.1 by Carmichael, a 45.4 for Reed. Well, that's about almost 2 seconds quicker than they were in practice.
Yeah, they are definitely, well, the track is a little bit faster than what it was in practice. After they roll some of the jumps and they fix the ruts, a couple of jumps get a little lower. Right here, that's where Carmichael's going 2.3, and look at that, he closed the gap within a bike length.
Here he comes through the whoops.
Chad Reed's a smart rider. You know, these guys have a lot of respect for each other. They're going to race each other clean, but if it comes down to that final turn, definitely look for the block pass. This right here will be the final turn. We got 2 laps to go.
White flag is out, 1 to go, and last week Chad Reed became the first Yamaha rider to win an AMA Supercross race in 5 consecutive seasons. Looking to get his 3rd main event win of the 2007 season here tonight in Atlanta if he can pull it off. Going for a heat race win, and here comes Carmichael. Carmichael closes in on him.
Right here, he triples to the inside.
Oh, right there, but he banged into the top block, and that cost him a little bit.
Cost him a little bit, but he's not giving up. He's still got 2 more 180s.
Oh, he lost it. Ricky Carmichael lost the control of the bike, loses ground to Reed, and he's going to have to give up the heat race win to Chad Reed.
And that is an awesome ride by Chad Reed there.
And Reed continues to build on the momentum he gained with the main event win a week ago in San Diego. Carmichael gets going, finishes 2nd, and is going on to the main. It should be awesome.
Take a look at this replay. Carmichael gets the drive. He comes into this turn. He's going to roll that. Rear tire gets over this part of the berm there. He was aiming for the rut, and the tire just missed it and spun out.
So Carmichael's going on to the main. Chad Reed will be there with him. Here's a look at the results. You know, we spent a lot of time watching that battle for the lead, but Davy Milsaps did a great job. Got the whole shot, held on for 3rd. He's going on to the main. Jeff Gibson will take the final transfer spot. Michael Byrne, unfortunately, involved in that incident at the beginning, is going to go on to the last chance qualifier. Well, let's meet the man, Aaron, who's got all the momentum, Chad Reed.
Well, Chad Reed managed to capitalize on Ricky's mistakes. Chad, you had said earlier that you're really struggling in practice. What did you guys change up for you to come up here so fired up?
We changed quite a lot with the bike and just tried to get me around the turns a little better. And man, the track is awesome right now. It's a lot of fun. And I was struggling in practice, but I think you know that's a stepping stone, and we need to go to the main event, get another good start, and try to step it up again. And that was fun, man, going out there with Ricky and battling, and it's pretty scary. Jump right off the side of the track. So, man, thanks to all the guys at L&M, Yamaha, Thor Parts, and all the guys at San Manuel and Unbound. Thanks.
Chad Reed, a man on a mission, your winner, heat number 1.
Did you miss any? The Mobile Supercross Series is in the Southeast for the first of at least 3 visits this year. We're inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. You could win a new Kawasaki KX450F plus a trip to the AMA Supercross Series finale in Las Vegas. Log on to speedtv.com with this weekly code word. See speedtv.com for details and official rules. The Speed Do for a Day contest presented by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Here's our Dunlop up close for heat number 2. Once again, we'll take 9 in the main, everybody else to the LCQ. And this too will be an 8-lap race. Let's show you the highlights now of heat number 2. Boy, it was a toss-up between Ivan Tedesco or James Stewart as to who got the whole shot.
Now the inside looks like Ivan Tedesco's on the inside there. Looked like he might be able to sneak by, but you carry so much momentum by going wide in the first turn.
Heath is working pretty hard right now, Jeff. He's 2 spots out of a transfer spot. He's trying to catch up to the 79 of Jacob Marsack. Right in front of him is Jacob Saylor. Jacob holds down 10.
I think he's got a drive here through the whoops. Ripples into the turn.
Now he's 1 spot out.
Nice execution there. That was a great line choice that he had. Just used a little more momentum coming out of the whoops and took that position.
Nice and relaxed, James Stewart. Let's go back to that battle for the final transfer spot. Heath Voss with a move to the inside. Didn't get it done there. Now he'll try it again. And I think he's going to get it.
That is his. That was a great line also.
Showing the top end of the Kawasaki as James squirts across the floor here in the Georgia Dome and goes on to take heat number 2. We've got 9 more riders set to go into the main event. They'll include James Stewart and Heath Voss. Jacob Marsack, however, has got to try to earn his way in through the last chance qualifier. Well, James Stewart picks up another heat win, Aaron.
He most certainly did, and he had the fastest practice time during both practices today. James, this is sort of like home for you, this sort of clay. How much is this track going to change from now to the main event?
A lot. You know, it's getting really rutted from the first heat race to my heat race, and you know, it's going to be tricky, just like San Francisco. So we should have a good race. You know, I think we're riding really good. Kawasaki's got me another whole shot, so hopefully we can put it together in the main.
After a tough weekend last weekend, he looked forward to a win tonight.
James Stewart has a win, but who's going to take the main event checkered flag tonight? We'll have more Supercross action from Atlanta right after.
Well, after 7 rounds of the AMA Supercross Series, only 12 points separate James Stewart and Chad Reed. But this weekend, the greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael, is back being added to the mix. Since his win in San Francisco, he's been sitting on the sidelines, analyzing, watching, testing, studying every move that his top competitors are making, and he's picking up a little bit of tidbits of anything he can to make up more time. With 250 tickets given away to his family and friends, he wants nothing more tonight than to go out on top.
He's been doing a little TV with us too. Doing a pretty good job of that. Here's our up close for heat 1. It was Chad Reed. For heat 2 is James Stewart. Of course, Carmichael was right there finishing second in heat 1. Jason Thomas wins the last chance qualifier. We got 20 riders, 20 laps set to go. But you know what? It's going to be 21 riders tonight because Michael Byrne, as you'll see in our Dunlop starting grid, using his provisional to make the main tonight.
And a rider that's in the top 10 in points could do that twice in a season in the instance like this with Burner going down in that LCQ. So I think we're going to see one of the most intense main events of the season. Track is great. I think these guys are really going to let it hang out.
And probably right in the middle of it will be the reigning World Supercross GP champion, James Stewart. Told us earlier today, when Ricky Carmichael shows up, I ramp up my game.
He just races differently, and that's what the greatest of all time will do to you.
crash on the start of this one, but getting the whole shot is going to be Chad Reed. Carmichael's in third and Stewart's in second. Travis Preston was involved in that crash. He's up and away. The other rider involved was Robbie Reynard, and he's up and walking away. But Chad Reed leads him, and look at Stewart coming on strong into the corner. Takes the lead away. But for how long?
Chad just stayed right in there. He didn't give him an inch.
Oh, contact there. Oh, and the crowd.
Watch this, watch this.
The crowd getting into that battle. Reed coming right back at him.
Here we go.
Oh, he tried to come right up alongside of him, couldn't get there. Meanwhile, Carmichael on the four sits right behind him, just watching the fireworks.
I'll tell you what, Stewart was the fastest guy earlier today. These guys need to make some passes and get up there and challenge him. They don't want to let him get away.
Ivan Tedesco runs in fourth, Carmichael's teammate.
Track looks really good right now, Ralph. It's corners and everything have got some great lines in them.
Carmichael watching the move right in front of him.
Guys are jumping a quad there after the finish. There's four little whoops there. They all started sweeping wide. You take that whole rhythm section in a different route.
Oh, down goes Reed. The San Diego winner is on the ground. There goes all the momentum he gained a week ago.
Luckily, he kept the engine going.
Let's go back and see what happened here, Jeff.
Well, you watch Reed here. He comes out the turn. He tries to cut down through that groove. Just as it leaned in a little bit too much.
He's up and going again. Reed had fallen back to about sixth position. Trying to work his way quickly back.
You really see from the overhead camera here how deep those ruts are.
Boy, Reed took advantage of a big mistake like that by James Stewart just a week ago and closed the points up big time. But now Stewart has about a 3-second lead over Carmichael.
Yeah, and he is laying down some good laps right now. He's almost a second a lap faster than Carmichael. And there's some things that he does, Ralph. Watch, he cuts tight down out of that turn and he stays out of those grooves. So that's something that with his bike, he's been able to do that all season. I know talking with Ricky that that's something that they're conscious of.
So Stewart up front, but Carmichael cut the gap to 2.6 seconds. There you see Ricky on the yellow Makita Suzuki. Trying to chase down that monster factory Kawasaki Stewart.
Ricky's hanging in there pretty tight. You see him cutting down out of the berms, trying to stay out of those grooves, get a good drive, exiting the turn.
Carmichael will tell you, I just want to be close when I get to 10 to go. He's in second. Now here's the fight for fourth. That's Reed on that blue Yamaha, number 22 in the white and green riding gear. He's caught up to Kevin Windham.
Trying to make up for that fall here. He was pretty good today in that qualifying round, and it's a little mistake there, but it's the inside of Windham. Can't make the pass in.
Windham on the Sobe No Gear Samsung Honda. The rider out of Mississippi. He's really picked up his game in recent weeks. Boy, Kevin Windham here in the last couple of weeks has really looked strong.
He most definitely has, Ralph. He's really poured it on the last couple of weeks, but this week in particular, you can expect to pour it on because as of last week, he hired a trainer, Jeff Spencer. And the reason why he hired him is because he's trying to eliminate any kind of mental stuff that he doesn't need to be thinking about when he's out on the track. All the stuff that kind of goes through his head that bothers him, so far it seems to be working for him.
Well, what's bothering him right now is Chad Reed. Here goes Reed through the whoops, blasts through the whoops and takes over 4th position.
Yeah, he got a great drive there. He was setting that up last lap, couldn't make it stick, but makes it stick that time.
Reed now will set his sights on Ivan Tedesco, the Makita Suzuki rider, holds down 3rd. And of course, every position Reed can gain back is huge towards the points chase. Carmichael, of course, not doing the whole season. Here's the encouragement from the mechanics. Reed is about 5 seconds behind Tedesco. Go back and take a progressive replay look at what's been going on with Chad Reed.
Trying to pitch everybody off there off the start. Stays in there. Great start by Chad Reed. Textbook.
He gets a progressive direct hold shot replay and starts to pull away from Kevin Windham.
Right now, Stewart's up front. He's really looking good, laying down a 46.1. And although last lap, Carmichael was quicker with a 45.8.
Battle for 6th, and it's a pretty good one. Tim Ferry on the 15, battling with Johnson.
Oh, gets to the inside there. Gets a great drive coming back down the start straight.
Gets around Brian Johnson, and he now moves up into 6th position. Talked to Mike Fisher, who runs the Kawasaki team earlier today, and he said they are very impressed with Tim Ferry, one of the best test riders they've had. And he says that's been a big key to Tim Ferry getting quicker each week because he's so good at testing. He's able to translate the information over, and the mechanics are able to get the bike right where he's most comfortable. On board with Heath Voss.
This is the first triple here around the track. You can see these grooves. The riders just pick one and go with it. Be going through the second whoop section. He goes right down the middle of those. Triples into the turn. Stays low, stays out of those grooves, out of that turn.
Voss running in 11th right now with their onboard camera.
Coming back down the start straight. Hugging it pretty tight. Oh no, he stays a little wide there, Ralph.
Crosses over to the other side of the track. 10 to go. Halfway home for James Stewart with a 2.1 second lead over Carmichael.
Now watch Stewart right there. He just jumped. Nobody has done this all day until right there. He did the whole rhythm section in 3 jumps. I think this was something that he was saving for the main event.
Carmichael hanging tough with him.
He is right there. Carmichael's not jumping that section, but he seems to be about a half a second faster than Stewart right now.
Well, the thing that beat James Stewart last week was his own mistake. Hopefully he doesn't do that tonight. He could be on his way to another win. Stay with us to find out here on Speed. Welcome back to Speed's coverage of Supercross from the Georgia Dome. You're on board with Heath Voss. That's James Stewart right in front of him. Just went around him. Stewart continuing to lead. So Heath looking around because he knew that guy was coming. Here he comes, and there he goes. Ricky Carmichael on the 4. The battle for the lead. Trying to build up some tension here. Carmichael 2 seconds behind Stewart with 8 laps remaining. And you can be 7 this time across the finish line jump.
You can see Stewart, he's got 3 lap riders in front of him. Ricky doesn't have any lap riders.
See the gap here.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, Carmichael's going to have to get by those same riders, but sometimes it's an advantage for the second guy, because just like what happened to Voss, once you see Stewart come by, you know Carmichael and Reed aren't far behind.
And eventually Carmichael's going to have to go past these guys too, but they're more likely to move out of the way for that second guy than they are the first.
Now these leaders are lapping inside the top 10, so that'll give you an idea just how fast these guys are going. Jeff Gibson there on the 40 is running in 10th. The fight for 3rd is between Ivan Tedesco and Chad Reed. Reed has closed that gap to less than 2 seconds. Here they are. Remember, it was a 5-second gap when Reed took over 4th place from Kevin Windham. So Reed is really flying here tonight. In fact, he's turned to 46.8. The best lap so far, a 45.6 by Stewart.
Well, Ivan, coming off of a great ride last week, is starting to build some momentum and get that hand stronger that he broke in the World Championship round.
And look at this, Carmichael closing in on Stewart. That traffic is helping out Carmichael right now.
He is close, too. He's about a 65 feet. The length that jumps up behind Stewart now.
Meanwhile, Carmichael's teammate has his hands full with Chad Reed. Here he comes, and Tedesco desperately needs a podium finish, Jeff.
Oh, he needs to prove to the Suzuki guys that, you know, he's doing the right things. They've been working hard trying to get him up there.
Tedesco can sense that Reed is behind him. Here he comes. Into the corner, under the brakes. Now Reed is there, comes to the outside.
Tedesco's hanging tough there. He's staying within himself. He's not letting the pressure of Reed get to him. He doesn't seem to be making any mistakes. That's what he has to do. He has to keep racing forward.
So much on the line here for Reed. The championship for Tedesco. It's the right within the Suzuki pit.
Here it is.
Oh, Reed right alongside, got him.
Tedesco just made a little mistake there. Chad took advantage of it.
Tries to counter, can't get it done. Drag race to the far end of the field.
Gonna have some block passing right here. Tedesco takes it back.
He does. Tedesco fighting for his life within the team. And Reed battling for the championship. What an aggressive fight between these two.
Ivan just took a look back over his shoulder there and came out on the other side.
Great, clean racing between Chad Reed on the number 22 Yamaha and Ivan Tedesco on the number 9 Suzuki. So Reed now has a podium position and a whole bunch of points back in his rear pocket.
Well, he's been pretty good at getting those podiums. I'm sure he's, to a certain point, he's happy with that, but he wants to get up there and win these races.
Stewart has lost about a full second to Carmichael. Reed is about 27 seconds behind these guys, so he's going to have to settle for third. But with 3 to go, can Carmichael mount an attack on Stewart?
Well, I think when they caught those lappers about 3 or 4 laps ago, Carmichael got within about 4 bike lengths of Stewart. Now he's pulled it back out. It's 2.5 seconds. He gained almost a full second that lap over Carmichael. Stewart getting pretty close to those top blocks again, coming out of the whoop section.
Well, that was his downfall a week ago in San Diego. We asked him about running so close to those tough blocks, and he said he was doing that to avoid some slippery sections on the racetrack, and just caught him out.
Yeah, those things will reach up and grab the bottom of the front forklift.
Checkered flag is fallen here inside the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, and it was James Stewart, first one to the line over the finish line jump. Let's show you the results from the racing action here tonight. Ricky Carmichael had a lot of speed, but couldn't just catch him at the end, and Chad Reed fell down all the way back to 6th, ends up 3rd, salvages a lot of points. Well, Aaron, one of the things that James Stewart told us earlier today was he didn't want to get too caught up in the frustrations from last week. Didn't look like he did.
No, he most definitely didn't, and actually it panned out exactly how he had planned. Him taking the win, RC taking 2nd, and Chad 3rd, extending that points lead. James, how did you manage to come back this weekend after an off weekend last weekend and not letting it mentally disrupt you?
Well, I mean, you know, it's easy because, you know, I didn't feel like I was off. You know, I just made a bad mistake, and I was riding good. You know, I was out front, and you know, I just got to get up to the boys from Kawasaki. You know, they always help me out always, and it was good. It was good to get them 5 points back. I just need 4 more, and I'll be back where I was.
James Stewart, your winner here in Atlanta.
Well, James is looking forward to going to Las Vegas in May, and so are we. Sam Boyd Stadium will be the site of the season finale. We hope you're there with us or watch it live here on Speed. James now leads the World Supercross point standings
Ain't close, but not close enough.
But you were taking a rhythm section that nobody else was doing. Congratulations on second place. Chad, a little upset for you. You managed to keep the bike going. How slippery were the track conditions out there tonight?
It was tough. It was, you know, I really liked the track. You know, I was super excited to go out there and put some laps together. And man, my starts are, it makes it so much fun to get out there and get out front. And, you know, I felt like I was where I needed to be and just wanted to watch James. And then took a digger in the turn. So that's not cool, but man, you learn from your mistakes. I'm so happy to be back on the podium because, man, we got some fast guys out there, and just want to thank all the guys at Sam and Well, Unbound, and all the guys at Yamaha. They're doing a great job, and my bud Jeff Fox and Thor Parts Unlimited.
Okay, the points margin was extended this weekend, but Chad Reed excited to be up here on the podium nonetheless.
It's a passion for